I've got this feeling in the pit of my stomach, Chelsea, because
it's horrible.
I think I might be in a maybe latership.
Oh,
Well,
tell me.
I'm not entirely sure, right? You're going to help me get there.
Maybe latership can be a beautiful thing, but also really, really painful thing as well.
So, Chelsea, I've been seeing these videos all over TikTok.
So bad news. I've been informed of a new term that is taking over the modern dating economy. It's called a maybe latership. And I just think something like this is 20 steps in the wrong direction.
I think it's beautiful. I really do. There's situationships, nobody likes those. But maybe laterships, it's kind of a thing of beauty a little bit.
Think casual situationship is already at the floor. Maybe latership is like the pits of hell.
I thought it was pretty much the same as a situationship, but it seems to be a little bit more complicated than that.
Yeah, as often with like dating trends online, it gets more complicated the more you get into it. I thought the same thing, actually, that it was pretty much just a rebrand of the situationship, but it seems like it actually is different. So if you look at situationships, it's kind of like the umbrella term.
Right.
This is like the new strain, if you will.
The new strain of an ambiguous hot mess.
Yes, exactly.
Great.
So you've got situationships as the umbrella term. That's when two of you are in a relationship, but
Can you call it a relationship? You're dating, you're
seeing
seeing each other.
It's probably a better term to use. Okay, two of you are seeing each other and you're not quite sure about committing to it, you're not quite sure about defining it. So you're avoiding that topic. A lot of the time, it's kind of seen now as more of a byword for something that's a bit toxic, because one person will be more eager than the other.
Yeah.
And it feels like the other person is kind of, trying to keep it undefined in order to prolong the benefits of it. Without having to actually define what it is.
This makes me cringe.
So a maybe latership is a type of that. You're not defining the relationship, you're not committing to it, but for a more concrete reason, because the timing isn't right, hence the maybe latership. So it could be because the two of you are about to go to university or about to go to college and you don't want to commit to it because you're going to be going to different towns. It could be because maybe you don't feel like your mental health is in the right place for a committed relationship at that time. So there's a whole plethora of reasons out there why you're saying not now, maybe later. But again, with the situationship, it can also turn into something that's not quite healthy or kind of upfront.
Yeah, I've got this feeling in the pit of my stomach, Chelsea, because
It's horrible.
I think I might be in a maybe latership.
Oh,
Well,
Tell me.
I'm not entirely sure, right? You're going to help me get there.
Okay.
So, open, honest moment of truth. I'm seeing someone who I really like, but they live very, very far away.
okay.
Okay. And so we've decided not to define it as a relationship until we can spend more time together in the same place, get to know each other a bit more, and also work out if we actually are going to have a future in the same place. So I guess as far as that's concerned, it is like a maybe latership. But I hope it's also like a probably yes latership.
Yeah, no, exactly. It's the kind of, it comes back to what I was saying about timing before. And like there's a whole like range of the people that I've seen posting about it on TikTok. Some of them very similar to what you just described. You're in different places. And so you're thinking, well, we have to kind of wait this out and see how it goes and think about it more before hopping into things.
Yeah.
That's a maybe latership. And then it can also be another case where people are saying, I feel like I have this really strong connection with this person, but they're saying I'm not ready now, which is putting me in the difficult place of, well, do I want to wait for them or am I going to move on and see if I have prospects elsewhere?
It's the waiting that's so hard, isn't it? Because while you're waiting to work out if something's right with one person, you're potentially missing opportunities to meet other people. Time is running out, all of that. So I wanted to find out if a maybe latership can ever work. Can it ever turn into a happy, full committed relationship, or is it basically doomed in a red flag from the start? So we've been asking some of our viewers and our listeners to get in touch, and I'm going to play some of the videos that they've sent to you now. So this is Rosa.
Maybe latership can be a beautiful thing, but also really, really painful thing as well. It's beautiful because there's a real connection and there's hope, but it's kind of painful because you're holding on to something that is not quite certain. It's not a yes, but it's not really a no either. And when I was living in London for a year, I met someone I really liked and I wanted something more serious with them. But they weren't quite ready and they told me to wait and they had to think about it. And I really held on to that hope for quite a while, but I eventually knew to let go, and it wasn't easy, but I now know it's better that way.
I think it's that uncertainty that Rosa talks about that really gets me. Like especially if you have an anxious attachment type.
Yeah.
Being in an uncertain, undefined thing where you can't fully trust that the other person actually wants to be with you. I think that would be really hard.
Yeah, I think it is. It's a good reminder that if you do find yourself in this kind of situation, you can make the choice for yourself. Is the person worth waiting for?
Totally,
You know, you can move on if you decide to.
So I have been looking right at these videos online, and the views, I would say, are pretty mixed. Some people are like, this is great, but other people are like, this is just a new label, a new term for a really toxic relationship.
Yeah.
So can they be pretty toxic?
I think they can. Like I was saying there, it seems to be quite a spectrum of different experiences. And in some cases, they can be toxic because if somebody isn't committing to you and you want that commitment, you feel like there's a connection there. A lot of people have said it almost kind of feels like stringing someone along.
Totally.
And manipulating them because
Yeah.
you want to keep that connection. You want to keep someone that's kind of yearning for you, but you don't actually want,
want the attention.
Pretty much,
I don't
yeah.
think that's what my
No.
maybe
This is unrelated.
relationship
This is unrelated.
But I can totally see, like, you might just, people like having other people's attention.
Of course.
Right? I've definitely been in situationships where I've kept them going because there are benefits to being in them, even though it might not have been with the right person. I might have had a feeling early on that, like, they're not the one. Like, maybe that I hadn't been completely honest with myself or with them about that.
Exactly, and there's many such cases, right?
Yeah,
Like,
I'm sure I'm not the only.
Exactly, most people have had an experience like that. But it's about to what extent can you take that
Yeah.
while being fair to the other person.
Yeah, you've got to be
right?
honest, haven't you?
Exactly, you have to be honest. And I think that's the key here. If you're being honest with the person and you're both on the same page, then that's okay. But if not, if one person feels like they're being kind of tricked in some way,
Yeah.
then it turns toxic.
Yeah.
But there's a whole kind of range of reasons why people are saying, why are we having this now? Like, why do we feel like there's so many
Different
terms?
ways of having an ambiguous
Yeah.
relationship. We're not settling down, are we, Chelsea?
No,
We're just
yeah.
not settling down.
I think a huge reason is the dating apps. You kind of get the illusion of choice, unlimited choice even.
Yes.
So meeting someone in person, there's so much more that you can garner about who that person is, like the way that they walk, how their voice sounds. All of that's kind of being flattened out into 2D, into a dating
They
app.
look like and what their height is.
Exactly. And so the kind of illusion of unlimited choice, if something doesn't work out, I can just go back to the apps and keep swiping and meet somebody else. Sometimes means that when you're in a relationship, you think, well, I don't quite want to commit to this yet.
Because there might be something better out
Exactly,
there.
yeah. There might be something better, so I need to keep all of my options open.
I think most of the stuff that I've been seeing online is about like straight heterosexual relationships, guys and girls. Is maybe laterships also a thing that's happening in different couples as well? Is that just a general trend?
Yeah, it's interesting. So from what I've seen on TikTok and Instagram and lots of other social media sites, it seems to mainly be heterosexual couples that are posting about it, or people that are in a heterosexual kind of relationship. So I've seen a lot of women posting about having negative experiences in
Yeah.
it, which is interesting. Some men talking about having positive
Positive ones. I
experiences,
saw that one
which
too.
is interesting. Yeah,
Yeah.
which is the main one that other people were tagging and commenting on and saying,
Yeah.
actually, it's terrible.
Yeah.
It's hard to not make a generalization from what people are saying. I'm sure that this isn't just applying to heterosexual relationships. Maybe it isn't. But it seems like there's a spectrum of experiences.
I think we need to hear from an expert. You've been speaking to a dating coach, right?
I have been. So let's hear from them now.
To avoid the indefinite maybe latership trap, first push to DTR or define the relationship, or in this case, define the maybe latership. Specifically, under what circumstances might they commit to a relationship, and over what timeline, and what are you two going to do in the meanwhile? And also make it clear that you are not contentedly waiting for them. This might be limiting your investment of time or energy in the maybe latership, or you can also tell them that you're going to date other people until they can tell you that later is now.
So it sounds like so long as you're both on the same page, that's the most important thing. Communicating, if you go like maybe later, maybe it's working out when later actually is, and finding out what your timeline looks like, especially if one person wants definition and the other person seems to be avoiding it. And look, we have to wrap this up, Chelsea, but I went back to have a look at some of the comments on our other YouTube episodes about dating and relationships, and we did one on prenups.
Yes.
And I want to read some of them out to you now.
Gosh.
Yeah. So we got a comment that said, marriage is a business no matter which way you look at it. And we got another one that said, I guess even the most diehard romantics are starting to look at divorce rates and are being brought back to reality. So God, sometimes I just think, are modern relationships doomed?
Oh, positive note to end on. No, of course not. I feel like if you go on social media, sometimes you might feel like they are.
Yeah.
But if you're outside and dating, that can be really, it's fun, right?
Yeah.
So maybe it's to kind of take a mixture of both. Remember, if you feel like it's really horrible, go outside. Touch grass is always the answer to kind of get away from the negativity. But
meet people in real life.
Yeah, meet people in real life. Exactly.
We've got to get dancing
we
again.
do, yeah.
Chelsea, thanks so much.
Thank you, Hannah.